This is false. Research has showed us that introducing AAC can often have a positive impact on verbal speech. AAC may limit or reduce the physical demands put on a student. It may also help decrease the pressure to speak. We all use AAC each and every day. So AAC in speech is not mutually exclusive. We use nonverbals, we wave, we gesture, we point. These are all forms of AAC. Our students deserve the right to access those forms each and every day. This is false. The belief that individuals must demonstrate certain cognitive skills before we introduce AAC may come from how we observe speech develop in children. For example, many children will often develop object permanence or cause and effect before we see speech emerge. Therefore, many often felt that individuals needed to demonstrate these same cognitive skills before we would introduce AAC. These assumptions are false, and they often cause us to limit or withhold the AAC for all learners. Research has shown us that speech and cognitive skills develop concurrently. Therefore, we must make sure that we're considering all forms of AAC for all learners based on their individual strengths, needs, and the features of the AAC. This is false. There is no evidence to suggest that a learner needs to be a certain chronological age in order to benefit from AAC. Remember, in Myth 2, we learned that there are no cognitive prerequisites for AAC. AAC can positively impact communication, language, cognition, and reading. So why wait? This is false. Have you ever heard, or perhaps you've said things such as, the student isn't motivated enough to communicate, or their progress is too slow? Perhaps they're too old to communicate, so why start? Statements such as these represent beliefs that act as barriers for students with disabilities as they learn to communicate. If we take ourselves, for example, we didn't stop becoming more effective communicators when we were young. This is a skill that we work to develop throughout our lifetime, and it's the same for all learners. There is no such thing as being too old to benefit from or to be introduced to AAC. This is false. Many AAC users have verbal speech, and we need to consider a few questions. Is their verbal speech able to functionally allow them to participate in activities of daily life? And does their speech allow them to engage in learning language and literacy skills? For many, AAC may include using a communication device, a board, or a book. It could also include using nonverbals, such as pointing and gesturing. And for some, it may include vocalizations and speech. We need to recognize that AAC may allow individuals a greater opportunity for independence, to communicate with unfamiliar listeners, and to engage in conversations that they might not otherwise be able to. AAC happens each and every day and is around all of us, so we must consider AAC for individuals who also have speech. This is false. Do we ask typically developing toddlers to point to pictures before they learn to use their voices to communicate? The answer is no. Infants begin communicating with us using their coos and their cries long before they begin to point to pictures when asked. So another question would be, do AAC users first need to demonstrate competence using no-tech or low-tech devices before we offer a more high-tech device? And again, that answer is no. There are several benefits to using a more high-tech device, including the ability to update it with greater ease as we're not looking to print and laminate or organize pictures. It often provides a voice output that is motivating to some learners. That voice output can also offer greater autonomy and independence as they're able to gain attention from others that aren't in their immediate environment. And it can also expand the number of people that they're able to communicate with. So when we look at AAC, it's not a simple checklist. It's not first you start at no tech and then you move your way up. We need to make sure that we're considering the individual needs and the strengths of each learner, and understanding that sometimes starting at high tech might be exactly what that student needs. And that when we start somewhere, we need to come back and revisit that and ensure that the AAC that a student is using is really able to meet their current needs.